Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today on today's webinar titled How to Leverage Virtual Reality at Your Next Event. If you found this live, thanks for joining us. If you found this recorded, thanks for finding us. Thanks for checking us out. We hope this is an exciting and a helpful webinar for you. We're going to start off by discovering and discussing some of the goals for this webinar. The first goal is to showcase various ways you can leverage VR. So we're going to show you depending on what type of event you're going to have and what the theme is, we're going to show you various ways that you can integrate VR or virtual reality into your event. We're going to also show you how and reveal how VR can help you achieve your event goals. So whether you want more foot traffic, whether you want lead generation, we're going to help you figure out how VR can help you achieve your event goals, your company's event goals, your client's event goals. Next, we're going to share VR activation best practices. We worked with some big marquee clients at some big marquee events, and we're going to tell you what worked, what didn't work, and let you know how what we've learned from beginning to now, so that going forward you can stand on the shoulders of giants of all the big companies that we've worked with, all the impressive events we've done. Lastly, we're going to answer questions that you may have. So if you're live with us, please start putting those questions into the chat box down to the left. If you've joined the recorded webinar, we still want to answer your questions, so feel free to email contact@VirtualRealityRental.co. Again, email contact@VirtualRealityRental.co, either now or in the future, and we'll help you out. As far as the agenda goes for today, we're going to discuss a little bit about ourselves. We'll keep it brief. We're going to go over the very popular event types that we often get pulled into, whether that's parties, booths at trade shows or conferences, as well as team building. And we're going to actually dive deep into each of those three types, give you plenty of examples, tell you the benefits, tell you the specifics, and tell you the tips and tricks we've learned to really make those types of events and the VR activations at those events successful. And again, we're going to end off by answering your questions. If you have questions, put them in the chat, or if you're watching the recorded, go ahead and email contact@VirtualRealityRental.co. So who is the man behind this voice? My name is William Griggs. I'm the founder and CEO of VirtualRealityRental.co. We're the leader in bringing virtual reality entertainment to events. We've worked with all sorts of big names, whether it's Capital One, Dropbox, GE. We've been trusted by them to come into their events and help make them look good and help make sure their attendees have a blast. So we've been there. We've done that. We're always on the cutting edge. We've got the newest, latest, greatest technology, lots of stuff that nobody else has. We've learned the experience and gone through the pains early on in the early days to figure out what we needed to do to these events to make them successful. Now it is bulletproof. We've gone to these events. We've come away getting amazing reviews. And we're the leader because we take a very special approach. We realize that most folks are not VR experts. They've never brought this to their event, but they want it to go right. Either their job's on the line, they want to make their boss happy, they want to make their client happy, they want to make it an amazing experience, right, for their attendees. And so what we do is we take a very consultative approach. We are the event and VR nerds by your side. We can play as big a role as joining team meetings, joining team calls, or small as roles as keeping it just back and forth on email. So we're really there to help make you look good, help make sure the event goes off without a hitch, and make sure your event attendees have a blast. Next, we're there to really focus exclusively on corporate events. Now, we focus exclusively on corporate events because that type of event takes specific skills and it takes specific expectations. We have to match those expectations, and we're there to do that. So we don't do necessarily bar mitzvahs and birthdays and all sorts of events. We focus on specifically corporate events, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We also operate around the world. We're very different in that case. We're not a mom and pop shop that's just me and one other person. We have a team full of operations folks, full of sales folks, full of event managers that are there to make it easy for you to bring VR to your event, make sure it's a blast, make sure it goes off without any hiccups. And lastly, like we said in the last slide, we're proven. We've worked with big names at big events. We've worked out all the kinks, all the wrinkles. We're here to help you now really bring this out and blow out your next event. And don't take my word for it. Here's what Melissa Carpenter at Capital One had to say. She said, as an event manager, I found the entire experience very easy to execute. I didn't have to worry about a thing. VirtualRealityRental.co made it all seamless and smooth. The technology and apps we had preloaded We're a perfect mix of inspirational and practical, driving home the point of our event. I really hope we get a chance to work with them together again. And I know we're already working with Melissa on future events, so that's hopefully coming true shortly. But as you can see here, everything we pride ourselves on, we're getting reflected back to us by our clients. We want to make it smooth and seamless. We want to make it easy to execute. We want to make sure it matches with your event goals and your event theme. So in the end, we make it easy for you. We're proven. We've got this team. We've got the staff. We've got the operations. We've got the logistical support. We've been there. We've done that. We can continue to make this type of VR activation at events the coolest, newest thing that you can bring to your event. And again, we'll make it easy for you. So let's dig into the meat or the bulk of today's content. We're going to cover the 3 most popular event types, and then we're going to go in detail on each one. So let's kick off with parties. After parties, we'll talk about booths, and then we'll go into team building. But let's kick off with parties. Examples of some types of parties that we're brought into are employee engagement events, maybe a holiday party, maybe it's a product launch. We're also brought into conference kickoffs. So big events around a conference. Let's say you have a conference that's kicking off on a Friday. You want to have a conference kickoff party that night. Or maybe it ends on a Monday or it ends on a Thursday. You want to have a wrap up party. We're brought into those types of events around conferences by conference organizers. We're also brought into networking events and happy hours. So oftentimes those are based around conferences themselves. So if your industry has a big conference, you want to bring us in to help drive people from the big conference to your networking event to help generate leads, to help generate conversations. We can be there. If you want to just throw a happy hour for your organization, maybe you're a law firm, maybe you're an event marketing firm, you want people to come to your event location and again to further relationships, generate leads, generate business, we can be there for you to help drive traffic to your events. Obviously, VIP experiences are very big, whether that's at a conference, a trade show, at a third-party conference or a first-party conference. Any type of VIP experience. It could be even a music festival where you want to add value. We'll discuss a little bit more about that in the coming slides. And then lastly, customer appreciation events or launch events. These are, again, ways to show that you're a fun company to work with and that you are on the cutting edge, and you want us to help you do that. And I'll walk you through those examples as well. So let's start off and by next talking about the benefits, right? So it's not just because it's cool, it's not because it's fun that we bring this. These are real business benefits. They actually increase attendance at events. So we actually can drive the sense of FOMO or fear of missing out. This is a new technology. People have not tried it. They want to be one of the first. They want to be able to go back to their friends and brag about that. So we can leverage that fear of missing out to increase attendance. Next, if we position it, depending on how your goals stack up, if you want increased brand awareness, we can actually build in physical takeaways, social sharing. We can build in signage. We can build in really a competition to really get people coming back to your booth again and again, or coming back to your event, or coming back year after year. Next is increased perceived value. So if we're talking about a VIP experience where people pay extra to have the VIP options, what we can do is help increase that perceived value dramatically more than the actual additional expense incurred by the event organizer. So if we're looking to increase revenue or ticket sales, this is one way to have a strong return on investment. Finally, we can also get people talking. This is a shared experience. We've seen this time and time again. People that come to events that maybe have a shared industry, or maybe they are both clients of a certain organization, or maybe they're both employees of a certain company, but they don't really work together on a day-to-day basis. This is the perfect icebreaker. This new, unique experience gets people talking, gets people sharing. Hey, have you tried the VR experience? That thing was crazy. Oh my gosh, could you imagine how that will impact our business? Or wow, I have never tried something like that. So much fun. And finally, positioning, right? We want to help continue to position our clients, our event companies that we work with, the end clients, maybe corporations or nonprofits. We want to continue to position as fun to work with and cutting edge. So this is 2 super valuable things as you differentiate yourself or your client from their competition. How are you going to look different? How are you going to be different? How are you going to act different? So that when the prospect or the customer thinks about your organization, they're positioning you as a fun company to work with that has soul, that has character, as well as someone that's cutting edge. So they know that your services are always on the cutting edge, that you're always going to bring them or your client or the end customer is always going to bring that individual or that company the latest and greatest. Here's an example of a conference party we attended. This is a giant conference in San Francisco. The target market of this conference were developers, technologists inside of big Fortune 500 companies. So when the individual, Tracy, came to us to see how we can integrate with her plan, she said, well, we have a zombie theme. Do you have any zombie experiences? Of course we have zombie experiences. This is amazing. Let's do this. Now what you'll see is they brought in character artists that would basically act as if they were a zombie. And we were able to tie in closely to their theme. What also was amazing about this is you started to see, like we talked about, people talking about each other, or talking amongst each other about the experience, about what they tried, about what they get to try next. So now you have a mingle, and you have a social interactions between folks, which is really awesome. In addition, they were actually able to use this to drive people to their event. So that was another benefit that they received. So they were able to drive foot traffic from the big conference down multiple blocks into a restaurant, right? It takes work, it takes effort. You all know that, to get folks from one place to another. And we were actually able to be one of the big magnets, one of the things pulling people there. They got to come here. They got to experience, obviously they got to get some food and some drink, some of the staples, but they also got to experience VR technology. And what was amazing about it is we got a rave review from Tracy. She said our team was looking for something unique to attract attendance to our RSA trade show party. The virtual reality theme tied in perfectly with our cyber zombie party. The the team at VirtualRealityRental.co made my job easy, from explaining their pricing, how they work with clients, to on-site setup, and the game. They are a pleasure to work with and well worth the value of the experience. Fun party. Hope to do it again soon. And Tracy, again, we're also working with her on some future events, and we hope to lock those up shortly. But as you can see here, she's talking about the value that we bring, not just how fun the experience is. Sure, the event attendees had a blast, which is great, but if we weren't there, they probably would have had fewer event attendees actually attending their RSA trade show party. So from her perspective, foot traffic is big, number of attendees is big, leads generated is big, conversations had, keeping the sales team happy is important, and we were able to help come in, tie in with their theme that was targeted at their target market based on their conference and based on the business that they operate. We were able to bring value to them and help generate a return on investment. The second example inside this theme is the VIP lounge. Here's an example of Spreadfast using a whole room at their event venue dedicated to VR. Now we've got people that are lining up to try it. We've got people that are mingling as they wait. We've got people that have just finished, and they're all smiling. They're all talking about the latest and greatest VR technology they get to try for the first time at this event. You'll see, again, people watching other people having a blast. You'll see folks chatting about it after they get to try it, before they get to try it. And what we've heard from the client is that they loved VirtualRealityRental.co. They loved the experience at their annual conference. The guests had such a fun and rewarding engagement, and we appreciate the professionalism and flexibility of the team. So what we were able to do is move from one spot to the next to really accommodate the layout. We're able to wear and don the Spreadfast t-shirts. Our staff was able to don the Spreadfast t-shirts to fit in, to make it look like it was one cohesive bunch. We were a part of Spreadfast for that event, making them look and continue to look cutting edge, making them continue to look fun to work with. So again, this was at a conference event, at their basically their hosted event, their hosted conference for their party, their kickoff party. They wanted to give people a unique experience, and it looks like, based on what Grace here has said, we did just that. In addition to some of the examples I've shared, as you think about different themes, we cover everything. So you think about winter, we have skiing, we have snowball fights. We even have a VR experience where you can create ornaments, right? Or you think about Halloween, we have zombies, we have scary stuff, we have kiddie scary stuff, and adult scary stuff, right? We have things that fit into your holiday theme, whether it's winter themed, Halloween themed. Think about any tentpole events. You have Super Bowl parties, you have summer events, you have really anything that you think of, we can fit in. We have over 4,000 different VR experiences to choose from. And that sounds like a lot, because it is a lot. And don't worry, we won't give you a list of 4,000 and say, hey, pick out what you want. Instead, what we will do is work with you and your team to understand about your event, and then we'll actually propose them. We'll say, here are 4 that we think would absolutely kill at your event. Here are 4 that we think that your team, based on what you've told us, will really love. And we can go back and forth and land on some that we're both really happy about and really excited to bring to your event. So what you'll see is once you're able to download this presentation, you can actually click on these links and watch videos of these VR experiences so you can get a feel for what it's like to be in VR, how it might fit into an event. But again, anything from, winter themed to Super Bowl themed to Oscars themed to Halloween themed to, I mean, anything in between, right? We can help you out. And that's the awesome part about VR technology. It's very rare that we bring the same experiences to multiple events. Typically, it's a new, unique experience every time we bring it to an event. In addition to different inspirations around tentpole moments throughout a year, we also have themes that we can fit into, right? So we have a travel theme. We can take people to Paris. We can take people to the pyramids in Egypt. We can fit in with travel themes that you might have, whether it's abroad or local. We also have sports themes, right? We can fit in with baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey, everything that you can think of. We have Top Gun inspired or flying inspired themes that we can fit into, as well as race car inspired, whether that's on the track or off the road, depending on your client, depending on what the type of event that you're doing and who you're working with, whether it's the company that you work with, or maybe it's the company that your client is. If they have, depending on what their theme is, depending on what their angle is, we can help them out. Again, Star Wars, futuristic with space and Star Wars. We can take people to the International Space Station. We can take people to Mars. We can put people on the moon. We can also put them, in Nashville, Tennessee. We can put them in Paris, France. We can put them in Shenzhen. We can put them in anywhere in the earth. We can put them in the stars. We can put them on the field. We can put them in the sky. We can put them on the racetrack. We can also put them, in a Hollywood scene, right? We can put them in the Western theme, right? We can do a quick draw. We can make them a superhero. We can put them outdoors on Mount Everest. We can also get them creating things, right? So they can create, spray paint, graffiti walls. They can create artwork that we can print off and they can take with them. You can be in Hollywood and you can be James Bond. You can be Spider-Man. We have lots of themes and the themes go on for days. So don't hesitate. If you've got a theme that you're like, I don't know if Virtual Reality Rental can help us out, go ahead and email us at contact@VirtualRealityRental.co. We will find VR experiences that fit with that theme. We have 100% confidence that we can help you out. If you're not excited about what we find, we'll find some other stuff, right? We'll find some other ways to fit it in. Lastly, when we're thinking about parties, we're also thinking about social sharing and takeaways, right? So with something like a Google Tilt Brush, we actually have a sophisticated integration where we can do branded prints. So if you see on here on the right side, we partnered with Cox Communications at one of their events in San Diego to do a branded print that could be either shared via social media, texted to the person who drew it so they can share it with their friends, or go ahead and print it out for them. So that's an awesome way. This is an awesome way to combine a new, unique, innovative event experience or activation at your event, combined with some of your goals, right? Some additional goals, not just being something cool, something interesting and helping position, not just getting conversations started, not just driving foot traffic and by giving something people have never tried before, but also by continuing to make the event live outside of the time frame that it is, right? So the event might go from 7 to 11 or 7 to 12, but we want the event to live on to the next day. We want the brand to get out there. We want people to put this on their refrigerator, put this on their desk at their work if it's a printed version. We want them sharing it out and people seeing what event they're at and folks understanding, hey, man, I shouldn't have skipped that event or I should have made that event this year. The second type of event that we're going to cover today are called booths. So these can be trade show booths, conference booths, and I'm going to dig into those a little bit as we expand upon them, right? So conference booths, trade show booths, exhibit booths, recruiting events, anything where you're trying to draw people in a confined area towards you and away from someone else, right? So Twitter, for example, used us on several recruiting events. They were trying to differentiate themselves from other folks at the recruiting event. And so what they wanted to do is set up a VR experience or a VR activation at their booth so people would walk towards them, right? As opposed to, like most trade show floors, walking in the exact middle of the carpet so that you're not too far to one side where you might catch their eye contact and not too far to the other side where you might bump into them or they might see that you're looking over at them, right? What we want to do is actually create that magnet, right? We talked about it a little bit earlier. Create that magnet to draw people towards your booth to differentiate, to get people to spread it virally. And what we've seen, which has been really amazing for every conference or booth or trade show booth or exhibit booth we've seen, is this viral spread. The spread word of mouth through the event. Oh, have you seen this booth or have you seen that booth, right? We want to go over there. We want to try it out. Now, what you see is more foot traffic over time as compared to the previous year or as compared to the previous event. So again, conference booths, trade show booths, exhibit booths, recruiting events, all fit into this booth category. And again, the benefits are increased foot traffic, increased brand awareness. We can have the social sharing, physical takeaways. We talked about the word of mouth being spread. It again continues to position folks as fun to work with, cutting edge, really differentiate themselves from their competitors. So as you think about your clients or you think about your own company, what resonates here and how does this make sense for your event strategy, right? Are you trying to increase leads? Do we need to put a badge scanner in front of each of the VR activations that we have? So people have to get their badge scanned before they can actually try out the event experience. So is it not that sophisticated of an event? Do you just want a fishbowl? Is there a sales conversation, right, that needs to go on before or after people try the VR experience? And again, this VR experience gets people talking, right? We've been at events where prospects are talking to customers. Customers are talking to partners, and they're all having a good time because they had some shared experience that they were able to talk about amongst each other, right? It's harder to just say, oh, so you're a client of so-and-so as compared to get the conversation started, as compared to, hey, did you try the latest VR? That thing was crazy. That was amazing. That was so realistic. All the good stuff that people say about it routinely. Here's an example of a trade show booth that we did. This is Cognizant. This is at Dreamforce. They wanted to, again, differentiate themselves. They were lined up next to all four of their major competitors. And none of their major competitors did anything like this. They did not have a line at their booth waiting to experience this. They did not have people coming back day after day. They just had TV screens and signage. So to differentiate themselves from their competitors and to draw people's attention towards Cognizant and away from the other people is by bringing a VR activation. This is a race car experience activation where people had a competition. You can actually see folks are having a great time. They have steering wheels and pedals, and we have people watching. We have people in line. We have people coming back day after day to compete to win a drone. So again, continue to position Cognizant as a fun company to work with, a futuristic, future forward-looking company, right? Thinking about they're giving away a drone. They have VR. They're at the cutting edge. Continue to position them and give folks a fun time, right? We did have a badge scanner before every time someone gave it a shot. We scanned their badge, and what we saw was an increase of number of people that came to the booth year after year. What it also led to is people asking questions of the sales staff that was working the booth. Conversations were being generated. Faces were being put to names as people identified themselves. Oh, yes, I'm a customer with XYZ or ABC company. So really lots of benefits that come from this. Again, we have the badge scanner you can see on the left. They're scanning through a mobile phone. We have folks on the right lining up, waiting to do it. This is not your everyday swag. This is stuff that, pens and pencils and pads, which are great. This is an experience that people are taking with them. They're getting us to take photos of them as they try this new VR technology. They're getting their friends to take photos. They're sharing it on social media, and they're there to continue to try to challenge and win a drone. So you have competitive juices flowing. So again, a bigger, better experience for someone like Cognizant than simply, going the run-of-the-mill approach and doing what their competitors were doing, which were pens and notepads. Again, a differentiated experience that led to a different level of return on investment. And again, here's what Katie at Cognizant had to say. VirtualRealityRental.co was extremely professional, both in the pre-event planning and the on-site execution. The technology and the staff were outstanding. I would not hesitate to use them again for our events. One of the things to note, as you see here in her testimony, and one of the things that we are so excited about is our staff, right? They're there because they're 50% event nerd and 50% VR nerd, which is the perfect place for them to be. Our company is the perfect place for them to be because they like to engage with folks. They like to talk with folks, but they also are technical enough to walk people through how to use the VR and troubleshoot if there are any issues that pop up. So again, we don't have folks, they're apathetic. Our folks want to be there. They're excited to be there. They're excited to be at your event. And it actually shows when we hear back from our customer stuff like the staff was outstanding. and they're extremely professional, right? We're not dilly-dallying. We're very diligent in our efforts, and we're very diligent at how we look and how we represent our clients. Because oftentimes, like I talked in the Spreadfast example, we're rocking the gear that they wanted us to appear in so that we look like a unified front. So our staff was rocking Cognizant and representing Cognizant because their shirt said Cognizant, right? So we take that extra care to train up the staff on what Cognizant does, how they work, who's going to be in the booth, how do they facilitate handoffs, etc. As you think about lead generation, we talked about it a little bit early, right? You can require badge scanning. This can be optional depending on what your event goals are. This is a great way to capture people's information, follow up with them after the event. It's a great way to actually get someone's badge scanned, right? You're giving them some value in exchange for their information. You're giving them an experience that they've never tried before, as opposed to, again, a pencil or a pad of paper or a pen. In addition, we have these multi-day event packages that we do, right? So if you think about having one event or a multi-day event, there's different approaches that we take. As you think about hosting a multi-day event, we can actually host a new VR experience each day. So for example, if you have an event coming up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you want to drive foot traffic every single day. You want to build buzz every single day. You want to have a competition every single day. You want to really continue to position yourself, generate conversations, generate leads. One way we can do that is actually dividing up the days and giving you unique VR activations each day. The example we have here on the slide is Monday's boxing, Tuesday's baseball, Wednesday's basketball. Now these are just baseball themed. We can do other themes, futuristic. Well, the goal is here is to differentiate the experience day by day. So if folks have seen it day one, maybe they were interested and they tried it out, they can come back day two. Maybe you had something that was a little bit high energy day one and some folks didn't want to partake. Now they can come back, try the low energy experience on day two. Maybe something a little bit more calming, right? As you think about the experience, we can actually build in unique VR activations each day. Again, adding to the value of what we do without adding to the cost. With an example like this of a 3-day event, we don't charge extra for something like this. We want to focus on making sure your event attendees have a blast and you think that you got so much more value from the VR activation than you paid for the VR activation. So we're really focused on making it a great experience for you as well as your attendees. So no additional charge for hosting unique or different VR experiences each day. Oftentimes folks ask about big booths versus small booths, right? So the example with Cognizant, that was a 20 by 20 foot booth, I believe. And not all of them have to be that big. We're doing an event right now as I speak in a booth that's 5 by 5. And we can send you layouts and we can describe how it works and tell you what technologies work and what don't. As you reach out to us, again, contact at VirtualRealityRental.co. But remember, not having a 20 by 20 foot booth is not a problem, right? We have solutions that fit all size spaces, right? Small from 5 to 5 to a standard 10 by 10 to 15 by 15, 15 by 10, 10 by 15, 20 by 20. We have all those options that we can fit to meet both not only your event goals, but also the limitations, right? You have other things often that you want to put in your booth. And this might not be the primary thing. This is a secondary thing. We can work around that. We can make sure it works. Lastly, what we want to cover is the team building events. So the team building events could be team-wide events, right? So kickoff, summer events. It could be corporate offsites. Could be folks, coming to an event, or coming to an offsite to, learn more about their team or to get to know their team better. It can also be department retreats. Maybe this is a quarterly thing or a yearly thing where we're bringing people offsite or we're bringing them to a retreat to actually get them to know each other, to facilitate a bond amongst them. And again, going through the traditional ropes courses are great. And personally, I love those, but this is a new twist, right? This is something that you can offer your clients that is different or offer your company that is different, right? Keep it fresh, keep people from, potentially rolling their eyes when they say, oh, we have a corporate retreat. It's like, no, we have a corporate retreat with virtual reality. This is going to be something new. It's going to be something different. It's going to be something fun. You're going to try things that you've never tried before, and we're going to have a blast doing it. So the benefits, obviously, would be increased participation. Maybe fewer people making excuses why they can't come, right? Maybe more people wanting to bring a spouse than normal if that spouses are invited, right? Again, it's a shared experience. People that work together or that work in the same company, now they can actually facilitate a shared experience to get the conversation started, right? Get folks sharing information about themselves, how they liked it, how they didn't like it, how how they felt, how they made it feel, what other cool things they've tried, what other movies they've seen recently, right? You start spinning the conversation based off of this shared experience, whether it's a competition or a collaborative experience. And, you're thinking about increasing the culture building awareness, right? So physical or social sharing and physical takeaways, right? So building up that culture, and not only just building up as a company internally, but building up and making sure that your employees let other folks know this is how amazing it is to work at this company, because that is what helps recruiting, right? Getting people to share it socially. And now folks that are looking for jobs, they see that and they say, man, I want to work there. Or getting people to share it socially. And now folks are seeing that, and they're pushing folks that maybe they're not looking for a job, but they're pushing other folks towards that company because it's a fun place to work, right? That's what we want to do, is continue to position either you or your client as a fun place to work when we're working through team building. So we're facilitating interactions between folks. We're positioning as a fun place to work. We're giving people unique experiences. We're making sure folks outside the walls know how amazing it is to work there. Lots of benefits from bringing virtual reality in addition to increased participation. Here's an example of a team building exercise we did with Mashbox out of Austin, Texas. In this example, we actually worked with the CEO to develop a curriculum that would help them achieve their goals. And we actually applied what we knew about what VR experiences worked for what goals, what VR experiences in what order made the most sense, how long each thing should last given their time allotment. We worked with them to actually create a down-to-the-minute curriculum based on their goals to give their team a variety of different VR experiences to experience and to work with their teams on. Right here, you can see a multiplayer VR experience. It's a very fun game, one of our most popular experiences. You actually have someone, gentleman on the left here is actually diffusing a virtual bomb. So what you see on the TV screen is what he sees in his headset. He can look up, down, all around. He can see the room surrounding him. He also sees the timer, right? He sees the timer on the desk. He sees the bomb in front of him. There's all sorts of combinations, all sorts of different things he's got to solve. And then his team sits around him facing away from the television, and they all have bomb defusal manuals. And those folks are there to help him defuse the bomb. They can't see the bomb, and he can't see the manual. Therefore, they have to work together to defuse the bomb using the manual. Really fun game. Lots of fun interaction. Lots of team building. It's a puzzle game. People have to figure out, do you go and start at the bomb defusal manual from the front to the back? Or do you go from the back to the front? Or do you start in the middle? Do you have the person that sees the bomb lead the effort? Or do you have the people that that see the bomb manual lead the effort into determining how to defuse the bomb? We also had other more active VR experiences that people were playing together. And as you can see here, it was a hit, right? So from the client, VirtualRealityRental.co went above and beyond every step of the way. Their staff was incredibly helpful with the planning, this portion of our event, and their event execution was flawless. We'll definitely partner with them again soon. Again, great positive things from Michael about us. But again, it's also about the virtual reality technology, right? It's not just about us. It's about the actual service that we provide, right? So we're not here to toot our own horn. The goal of this is to tell you, this is what the client says, right? They see value in this. They thought it was a blast. Their team had fun. They got amazing feedback, right? It's not just us telling you it's amazing. It's the client telling you that it's amazing, with hopes that would continue to build trust with you, because again, we know that folks like yourselves have never brought VR to events. So we've seen some examples. Let's look at a few other examples, right? We talked about the bomb defusal. We also have VR Pictionary. As you can see, once you get the presentation, you can click on this right here, this link for the Jimmy Fallon Virtual Reality Pictionary. You can see some celebrities doing VR Pictionary, which is really amazing. Lots of fun interactions. Some people are drawing, some people are guessing. We have high score challenges where you're getting people to slice fruit using Fruit Ninja. We have music making where teams can actually take turns or work together to build music songs that then we can download or we can share with them so they can listen to it and take it away. We have carnival challenges. We have people that can play team versus team and have people battling through the carnival challenges, as well as having folks face their fears. Nothing like facing fears, right? We talked about it on ropes courses and how that brings teams together as they have to work together. This is another one, right? So this is a virtual fear, whether it's spiders, whether it's heights, whether it's anything. We actually have a lot of different VR experiences that are related to facing your fears, which lead to a fun reaction and, again, a unique shared experience. If you need specifics, right, we covered a lot of goodies here today, Covered a lot of information, giving you a lot of different things to think about and chew on and take away. But if you need specifics, we have two options for you. The first option is for you to download our latest ebook. Again, if you download this proposal or this presentation, you can click on this Learn More button to check that out. Or you can go to this URL, bit.ly/2i8gueq. And again, capitalization is important there. You can visit either of those links, same link. You'll learn, which VR experiences to incorporate, why. You'll learn more about the overall VR technologies that we offer. You'll be able to figure out other questions to ask someone like us or potential VR vendors to make sure that they know what they're doing. You'll see what you should expect from folks like us as you're planning your event. We also have answers to frequently asked questions. Lots of folks asked about power requirements and space requirements, and we dig a little bit more into the space requirements in this Google Doc or into this PDF rather, as well as internet requirements. We also talk about awesome things about how to brand your experience and how to handle guest throughput and logistics. So you can dig more in to that ebook if you want more specifics. If you want personalized support, you can actually reach out to us, right? So you can reach out to us via contact@VirtualRealityRental.co, or you can reach out to us by using this bit.ly URL. Or again, if you download the presentation, you can click where it says Request Strategy Session, and you'll go to the page, bit.ly/2VYLJUP. Again, capitalization matters in those, so make sure to capitalize those properly. And once you visit that URL or click through the link, you'll be able to schedule a time to talk with one of our VR event experts. These folks can understand your event. They can tailor our services to them. They can answer your questions. Maybe you have specific needs or specific requests or specific logistical issues that you want us to help solve. We can help solve those and help you figure out what's the best way to bring virtual reality to your event. Well, again, if you found us on the live webinar, we want to thank you for joining us. We're going to take questions in a second. If you found us on the recorded webinar, again, thanks for finding us. Thanks for being interested in bringing VR technology and VR activation to your event. We love what we do, and it shows in the service. Hopefully it shows in the content as well. Hopefully it shows in what the customers are telling you in this presentation about how amazing VR is to bring to an event and how fun it is to work with someone like us. So again, if you have questions, download the PDF, check out the strategy request document and a couple slides prior, or go ahead and just email us or call us. You can email us at contact@VirtualRealityRental.co. We look forward to hearing from you, and thanks again for checking us out.